Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain another type of amplitude modulation method which is called as single sideband modulation. As you know, when I perform that amplitude modulation, we actually get two sidebands and one carrier. If I transmit both the sidebands and a carrier, all the three components, that method is called double sideband full carrier, or it's a conventional AM signal, what we say. Now, we can suppress the carrier because carrier is, as again explained in my previous videos, carrier is doesn't represent any modulation. It's an unmodulated carrier. So we can suppress the carrier and transmit only two sidebands. And that method is called double sideband suppressed carrier. The carrier is removed. The advantage of that double sideband suppressed carrier method is we save a lot of power. The carrier power, the power required to transmit the carrier is of the use. So that when it is suppressed, that much amount of power is actually not required while transmitting the two sidebands. So that is the advantage. But we are not going to save anything in terms of the bandwidth. The bandwidth requirement in case of double sideband full carrier, double sideband suppressed carrier, it is 2 WHz, assuming that W is the message bandwidth or highest frequency in the message spectrum, a low pass signal. Now, since both sidebands actually carries the same information, okay, we can suppress one of the sideband, that is maybe upper sideband or maybe lower sideband, and transmit the signal to the receiver and convey the information whatever you want to convey to the receiver. That means you transmit only one sideband or single sideband. So such method is actually called as single sideband modulation. The advantage of this method is we save a lot of power as well as the bandwidth, because the bandwidth required to transmit SSB signal is just WHz, half of double sideband suppressed carrier, double sideband full carrier. So we will understand how to modulate the signal, what is the equation in the time domain, then how to represent in the frequency domain. So we will understand in this video. Now, see, as I told earlier, the double sideband suppressed carrier modulation is actually the limitation of that AM, a wastage of transmitter power is actually overcome in the DSB SC. But the channel bandwidth, another limitation of the AM, that is channel bandwidth, is actually, the same bandwidth is actually required in the DSB SC also. But we can save this channel bandwidth by suppressing one of the two sidebands. That is either upper sideband or lower sideband. So this method is actually called as single sideband modulation method. Okay. So here only lower sideband can be transmitted or upper sideband can be transmitted to the receiver, as I told earlier. And if I transmit only the lower sideband, that method is called lower SSB. If I transmit only the upper sideband, that method is called upper SSB modulation. Okay, so depending on which sideband you are transmitting, we say it is a lower SSB or upper single sideband modulation technique. Now, there are different methods. There are different methods of generating the SSB signal. Basically, we can classify into two different methods. Say the frequency discrimination method, which I have shown here, and phase discrimination method. Okay, so we will understand what is this frequency discrimination method is. Okay, now in this case, what I am using here is a product modulator. Okay, for which the two signals are given. The one is the message signal M of t, and the other signal is carrier wave, that is AC cos 2 pi fct. So two signals are actually applied as the input for this product modulator. Now, when I give a message signal and carrier signal as input to the product modulator, always in the output, what exactly we get is the signal what we get is double sideband suppressed carrier signal. So always we get DSB SC when we multiply a message signal with a carrier signal. So that means the carrier is suppressed. So as I told you now, in the SSB modulation, we transmit only one sideband by suppressing the carrier as well as the other sideband. So by product modulator, we suppress the carrier. So we have got two sidebands here. Now, so these two sidebands are given to the bandpass filter, where in the bandpass filter, one of the sideband is actually eliminated. So that depends on how you design this bandpass filter. What is the cutoff frequency, the upper cutoff frequency and the lower cutoff frequency. So depending on that, either I can choose a LSB or maybe the upper sideband, lower sideband or upper sideband. So the output of this bandpass filter is a SSB modulated wave. Okay. Okay, now we will understand the frequency domain representation of a SSB signal, that is frequency spectrum of a specific signal, along with the equation for SSB in the time domain. Now in this case, just look at this equation, this representation. This is a message signal. Okay, this is a spectrum of the message signal which is having a bandwidth of W hertz. That means it is extending from 0 to the highest frequency of W hertz. When this particular signal is given to the product modulator, as I told earlier, it actually gives you a double sideband suppressed carrier signal. That means assuming that the frequency of the carrier is Fc, the spectrum of this is actually shifted by Fc. So we get two sidebands over here. That is, one is the lower sideband, the other one is upper sideband. Okay. Now here in this case, just to represent the lower sideband and upper sideband, just look at this now. Here we have this portion is the lower sideband portion, okay, and this portion is the upper sideband portion. Okay. Now, so out of these two sidebands, I can choose any one of the sideband for SSB transmission, either upper sideband or maybe the lower sideband. And as I told earlier, this can be done by designing a band pass filter with a certain cutoff frequencies. So if I want to choose, say, upper sideband, what I will do is I will design a band pass filter which has the response equal to something like this. That is, the lower cutoff frequency equal to Fc and upper cutoff frequency is equal to Fc plus W. So in that case, it allows only this spectrum and we get only USB. Now if I design a band pass filter with a response something like this, the ideal response of a bandpass filter, since the spectrum are overlapped, I have to go with the ideal response. That is the major disadvantage of frequency discrimination method. So in this case, the lower cutoff frequency is Fc minus W and the upper cutoff frequency is Fc. So in that case, only this spectrum is allowed to pass and we get only the lower sideband. So hence I can say that only one sideband is selected and that sideband is transmitted to the channel. Now in the time domain, the equation for SSB signal in the time domain is actually given by this equation. That is, SSB of t is equal to half of AC AM cos 2 pi FCT cos 2 pi FMT, where this is the frequency of the carrier, this is the frequency of the message signal, a single tone, minus or plus half of AC into AM sin 2 pi FCT and sin 2 pi FMT, where this part is actually called as in phase component, and this component is called quadrature component because here the carrier, this is cos 2 pi FCT and this is a quadrature carrier, that is sin 2 pi FCT. Or we can also represent the equation of SSB signal something like this, that is AC by 2 m of t cos 2 pi FCT minus or plus AC by 2 m cap of t sin 2 pi FCT, where this m cap of t is nothing but it is the Hilbert transform of the message signal m of t. Okay. Now, if I are transmitting only the lower sideband, then here you have to consider the plus sign. If you are transmitting a upper sideband, then the sign will be minus. That is all. Okay. Now, this is about the frequency domain representation of SSB modulated wave. Now, we will understand what is the problem with or disadvantage of this SSB frequency discrimination method. Okay. Now in this case, as I told, just look at this. There is no gap between the two spectrums, and whatever the bandpass filter you design should have a very ideal characteristic. But practical filters will have a response something like this. Let me change the color here to make you understand. Okay, so yeah, so practical filters will have a response something like this usually, right? This is the response of practical bandpass filters. Now what happens over here is it will, I want to choose only upper sideband, but some portion of the lower sideband is also selected. Some overlapping happens here. This happens because there is no frequency separation between the two sidebands. So this is the problem with frequency discrimination method. Now we will understand this concept by using another way, that is, in this case, what I have considered is my speech signal, or say the message signal m of t is extending between some certain low frequency of f minimum up to frequency of f max. For example, let us take audio band. Audio band range is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, right? 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. It is not zero. Practically, usually we consider it as zero to say highest frequency of W hertz, but here this 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, this is the actual audio band. Or if I take a voice band, the frequency range is 300 to 3000 hertz. So what we have here is we have a holes, or there is an energy gap. This is called energy gap or holes at zero frequency. Okay, so this gap, say this is 20 hertz and this is 20 kilohertz. So this is usual spectrum practically, I can say. Now, if this signal is given to the product modulator, the entire spectrum, this is at the zero, centered at zero. So when it is applied to the multiplier or a product modulator, the entire spectrum is actually shifted by a FC hertz. Right? This is the output of what I'll get in the output of product modulator. So by using a ideal low pass filter, sorry, band pass filter, I have to choose any one of the spectrum. So by looking at this figure, I can say there is a gap between the two side bands, but this gap or the guard band, what we say, is minimal or very small. This is equal to 2 times f minimum. Just subtracting this frequencies, you will get the difference between this frequency and this frequency. Just subtract it, I'll get answer as 2 times f minimum. Now, the minimum frequency in the case of audio band is 20 hertz. So that means the separation is just 40 hertz. That is, the guard band, what we have here is just 40 hertz. If I take a case of the voice band, in that case, that 2f minimum is actually equal to 600 hertz, just 600 hertz. Even if I design a filter, I have to go with a band, ideal filter only. But if I go with the practical filters, again there will be some overlapping which happens here. So this is the overlapping. This is because of this short gap or a guard band between the two side bands. There will be a overlapping. This is the problem. So how to solve this problem? The one way is we have to go with a very high Q factor band pass filters. Okay, a quality factor, very high quality factor, because band pass filter is a narrow band pass filter which is nothing but a tuning circuit, a parallel resonance circuit, which should have a very high quality factor. And we have such a very high Q factor band pass filters, something called as crystal resonators, but they are very costly. So designing of band pass filter is very difficult in such cases. So what we can do is we can go with another method which I will explain now. This is another way where we can solve this problem. So I can say that this is the solution to the design problem of band pass filter. So what exactly I am doing here is we are using a two-stage of SSB modulation. Okay, so this is the first stage, this portion is the first stage, this is another stage. So I am using the same product modulator and band pass filter, and the output of the first stage is given to the second stage. Okay, so we are using two different carriers here. One with the frequency of FC1, the other one with the frequency of FC2, and usually that FC2 is more than FC1. So when we multiply the message signal with say the carrier, and we get a double sideband suppressed carrier signal, that means the spectrum, the message spectrum is shifted by FC1. So this is actually shown in this representation over here. Okay, that is a double sideband suppressed carrier signal is shown here. Now what is the separation between the two sidebands? This again 2f minimum only. There is no advantage over here, right? That's why the output of this band pass filter SSB signal is given to another multiplier with the frequency of FC2. Now what happens? This is the input for second multiplier. So this entire spectrum is actually shifted by FC2 now, centered around FC2, where FC2 is more than FC1, as you can see over here in the frequency domain. So now what will be the separation between the two spectrums? When you calculate the difference between this frequency and this frequency, that guard band will be equal to 2 times f minimum plus 2 times FC1. That is, FC1 is usually a high frequency signal which is in terms of some kilohertz, right? So maybe 1000 kilohertz, maybe 1500 kilohertz, or maybe 1200 kilohertz. So separation will be almost 1500 or maybe 1000 kilohertz. So here it is just 40 hertz, here 40 hertz plus 2 times 1000 kilohertz maybe. So roughly I can say it is 2000 kilohertz. That is the separation between the two sidebands. So in this case, very easily I can design a practical band pass filter and select any one of the sideband, maybe the upper sideband or maybe the lower sideband. So hence you can say that this problem of designing of band pass filter is avoided or overcome by using two-stage of SSB modulation. Now we will understand what are the advantages, disadvantages, and applications of SSB, single sideband transmission. I'll start with the advantages. What is the advantage? As you know already, we are actually going to save a lot of bandwidth. The bandwidth here is just W hertz. Okay. The second point is the transmission, more number of signals can be transmitted, because anyway you have, out of the overall bandwidth, my signal is taking less bandwidth over here, or less space in the overall bandwidth, overall transmission bandwidth. That means more number of signals can be accommodated and multiplexing. More number of signals can be multiplexed and transmitted over the channel. The third one is S, of course. For a mu equal to 1, the modulation index equal to 1, around 83.33% of the total power can be saved. Okay. The next one is high power signal can be transmitted, because we can allocate more power to the single sideband, and hence you can increase the power level of the single sideband and can be transmitted, and because of that we get this advantage, that is less amount of noise, or you can say the signal fading will be less, that is attenuation of the signal level will be less, okay, in the SSB transmission. Now what is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is this: the generation and detection of the SSB signal becomes very complex. We have to use some extra circuits and all, so quite is complex. Now the quality of the signal will be affected unless the SSB transmitter and receiver have exact frequency stability. So we should have a very excellent frequency stability. It should not vary. If the frequency varies between the transmitter and receiver carriers, then demodulation becomes difficult, because I'm using a coherent demodulation for detection of the SSB signal. Few applications. So this is useful wherever you have to save the power, wherever the bandwidth requirement is less. You can go with this method. You can use this in the mobile communication, that is land, air, maritime, mobile communications, point-to-point communications, like mobile communication again, radio communication, wireless communications, television, telemetry, radar communications. These are the applications. Okay. In military communication, is a very useful SSB, because it has its own secrecy or security, because by using simple receivers, it is impossible to demodulate the signal or detect the signal. It is impossible. Tuning becomes very difficult. So in a military communication, it has added advantage, and that is security. Okay, or you can use this in the amateur radios also. The SSB is used. So these are all the advantages and disadvantages and applications of SSB. So in this video, we discussed about how to generate a SSB, what is SSB, how to generate SSB by using frequency discrimination method, and as well as the frequency spectrum representation, the time domain equation, finally the advantages, disadvantages and applications of SSB. Thank you for watching this video.